Okay, so I decided to come up really quick to do a live stream in Kensington, having volunteered for Prevention Point in the past, and with Project Safe, which provides safe supplies to people like needles and everything else. Anyway, also as someone who wants to sort of increase their channel and everything, I figured I would do the Kensington run. So I have days of, wondering like, yeah, I don't like to exploit people or anything, but it does raise awareness and everything else. We got police presence down here, L&I over here, got a pizza. L&I is licensing and inspection. You'll notice this is the Market Frankfurt L. My speech isn't as good. Sometimes there's blockages. Anyway, see how it looks like a big gigantic insect? Across the street. So anyway, ambulance right off of the Allegheny stop. Police presence down here at Clementine. It's kind of loose, so we have to do all this, okay? So anyway, just decided to come up here after doing my Good Dog No Barking episode this morning. This thing go in already? Okay. So anyway, right. It's a whole thing that we anyway, here we are live in Kensington. I wore a mask because I'm on the public transport, so we might have some interruptions intermittently. Here, I had a really quick outing and then back on again here, walking between Clementine and Clearfield. So I don't know, I'm on the west side. We have a lot of helicopter action going on. It's like Armageddon constantly. So anyway, Cinco de Mayo today on Thursday, May 5th. A little shot of that. Some people who are into healthy environments for people and stuff like that, they'll talk about noise pollution and everything else. This contributes to just like sort of the diminishing of a quality of life, if you will, to have to live or operate next to the L. So here, walking south from me in Kensington, hoping to educate the world about all the stuff that sort of hurts people. Meaning all these people were probably hurt at some point in time. That's my take on it. So I don't know what to say. Everybody has their own opinions about how people wind up in certain worlds. Mine is that people are usually traumatized or experience certain things in their upbringing, and they wind up sort of being kind of cornered or stuck or pushed into a certain world. So anyway, walking along Kensington here. I was going to do that too, but I decided to switch it up. I tend not to keep a schedule. I stagger I don't want to keep to a schedule too much. The world out there is heavily orchestrated and everything, at least in downtown Center City, Philadelphia. So I try to keep people on their toes, if you will. Right, similar families and stuff. Because you'll see people, they look highly recognizable, and it's like, oh my gosh, this be like a big family and everything. So anyway, here in Kensington, and so we've got all this going on here, so special stores, all that. So there's some kind of police presence over on Clementine. I don't know what they were doing. They just had it roped off and a bunch of people are standing there. So heading on down towards Somerset. I think that's where I want to go to. I actually knew someone who lived on Somerset and visited her and hung out with her for a few times. Her name was Jennifer Rakowski. And anyway, she lived on Somerset and way over east, closer to Hinge Cafe or what have you. So this is way back when I visited Sisters nightclub. Sisters nightclub was technically it was a lesbian nightclub way back in the day. They've changed it, has new ownership and all that kind of stuff. So she lived down on Somerset all the way east. She was a kind of like a bouncer, I guess, like a bar bouncer for. I look like are those his own dogs or is he a dog walker? Like I'm so used to the dog walking where here's McPherson. Didn't even know. So McPherson Park over here. So in the summertime, this will be all packed up. Should I walk around or no? Do they? Go up and around, or are they regular pigeons? And so actually, you're right. Kind of Corso Mastiffs are similar, are like the dogs. They're a mix between pit and everything else. So which way do you want me to go? Okay, we'll just do a straight walk down Kensington. So here's McPherson-ish, I think, over here. And so anyway, I knew someone on Somerset. Her name was Jennifer Rakowski. She was a bar bouncer, and then later did she do anything else at Sisters? I think she was just like a bar bouncer type of person. So she worked all the way down in Center City and would come back home all the way up here. She actually had a fairly decent apartment. It was on the second floor of like a house that was converted into 2 apartments. I was kind of surprised because I came back with her one time to hang out and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, technically it was a pretty nice setup. I don't know how much she was charged to live there. On Somerset, it was probably a lot less. It was just that it was a 1-bedroom and it took up the entire top floor of a house. Anyway, she wound up working for Whole Foods later, and I don't know what she does now. For a second, I wondered if she had gone trans. A lot of people I knew went trans. So I saw someone online, and I was like, oh, there's someone. Who's this person? Because this person reminds me so much of Jennifer Rakowski. I don't know if she changed her name or not. If she did, she could be walking around with, Danger as her last name. So people change their names all the time and come up with names like Danger or what have you. I don't know. They look so similar, this Sean Danger person and Jennifer Rakowski. It's like, I wonder if she transitioned. But I wound up asking, and he said, no, a different person altogether, but they could be almost twin siblings or cousins from like Michigan. So anyway, walking down on Kensington, thought I would do this just for another video. I know some YouTubers out there like Kim Gary and ACM Films or something films or what have you. They have some really good videos. They kind of, like, I think Kim Gary rides around in a car and then does the slow-mo. I don't know how to do all the special effects, and it takes a lot of time and everything. Some people have all-out production companies and what have you. I have concerns about, being too much in people's grill. But if you're riding around in a car, I don't know what to say. A lot of hurt and a lot of pain in Philadelphia. So what can I say? So we'll just walk along and show Kensington on Cinco de Mayo, Thursday, May 5th, today. So we'll head on down towards, where are we now? Okay. So I don't know. I'm always curious, like how how I can't put up with pain, so I don't know how people do it. But anyway, so Tracy or tracing is sort of like another name for tracing people. Someone brought that up one time. So anyway, just walking along. I don't have much to say. I feel like I don't have a lot of words while up here. I only have a few stories of stuff that happened in Center City. So I'm kind of curious, like while I was being tortured in Center City, what was going on up here? Like I do think about this a lot. Like what was everyone else doing? Everyone else was going on living their lives while I was being tortured, kind of thing. So anyway. Right. So anyway, New Day Women's Drop-In Center over here. I used to come up here at night. This is years and years and years ago. To volunteer with Project Safe and Prevention Point. Both groups have a thing, like you could get certified, I guess to administer, was it naloxone or whatever? I don't even know how to. Anyway, you could technically get certified to do it. But to me, it was kind of scary to actually, I think they have it in another form now. It's sort of like the Pulp Fiction when you, stick a needle into someone's heart to resuscitate them, if you will. I'm not into that kind of, I'm a little too sensitive for it, but anyway. Here's some appliances. This is interesting. Some appliances here. So there's some stuff available here if you need that. Kind of reminds me of my mom and Aunt Jane having to run out to a cheap place to get a refrigerator for where they lived. And my Aunt Jane's sons kind of recommended, like, basically coming out to Kensington and getting a refrigerator out. So anyway, HIV testings, they do a lot of this stuff. And of course, the spread of HIV and everything is a big deal. Oddly, they're trying to work on an all-out cure and a better way to manage HIV. I have O-negative blood, which is already immune to HIV. So people who have O-negative blood are already immune. So if you have O-negative blood, you're good to go. It's because of a mutated gene on the cell that won't allow HIV into the cell. So HIV, it starts out as HIV and then it becomes full-blown AIDS. So Somerset, here we go. This is where Jen Rakowski used to live, but all the way east over by Hinge Cafe. I don't even know if Hinge Cafe is still there. Someone said it was, but all the way up here, I remember also volunteering with Congresso-ish. Like I would do, or Lehigh Hospital did rape kits and everything. So I was up there and also visited Congresso, all in the mix of all that volunteerism. So sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied. I'm not sure what to say. Normally, I don't like to come out and like show people, but someone was like, totally get out there. Philly is what it is. And guess what? You want to up your channel, try to get some more subscriptions and raise awareness about the city, and I'm honest about it. So, so anyway, great. So I figured I'd walk along. Did we want to get on Somerset or did we want to go down one more? We'll go a little bit more. I can't remember which stop I wanted to get back on to go back down. But before, when I volunteered, I used to get off at Somerset. I used to walk down here towards the bridge or the next stop. It's a long, long, long walk to get all the way down. Like if you wanted to get to, say, like Gerard or Frank or what is it, Johnny Brenda's and all that stuff. That's kind of a long walk, long-ish walk. So this is my little walk along Kensington. We have a lot of cars all of a sudden. Um, Great Wall, Chinese and American food. Okay. So the Rock Calvary Chapel of Kensington. I broke down Kensington, or somehow it came up like Kensington. So say people on drugs were used to demonstrate or show other things going on in society, and they wind up here, Ken is singing ton, or so, I don't know. Anyway, King of Kings. So, and we got Q&A smoke shop up here, ground beef. I'm vegetarian. So technically, did you know Wonderland is closing down on Walnut Street? So of course the L looks like a big gigantic insect. If you look at it with the legs and everything, or like an alligator crawling over the city, that's what it can look like. But these are the streets on Kensington on Cinco de Mayo, just around lunchtime-ish hour during the day, just showing the regular streets. We passed McPherson Park earlier on our walk down here. So, I can hear like music out there. I don't know if anything's going on or what. But in a way, wait, I'm thinking about this for a second. Oh, hey Joe, how are you? Wanted to come up here really quick just to do a quick run through. Storage saying done and done. And what I get from that is if you're at the point of having to put your stuff in storage long term, then they got you. Like it's the idea of like trying to push people into homelessness or certain worlds or what have you. So no one wants to have to long term. So anyway, wow, that reminds me of Jen Rukowski. So anyway, Rocky House, yeah. So it's Rocky up here in Kensington, and basically trying to show that technically, you know, a lot needs to be done to sort of like change society and all that other kind of stuff. Some people brought up the idea of the identified patient, and like an identified patient would be someone who manifests all the, say like an entire family system has like toxicity, and one person winds up sort of either the black sheep or manifesting showing all the toxicity of a family. So in a way, Kensington is the identified patient of showing how sick America has become because of the infiltration of drugs into society. So, there's always sirens up here. Adrian Pet Shop, not there anymore. Oh, okay, I don't know, and I'm trying to see. I can see someone else is in here. Sorry, I can't see your chat that well because of the glare. I saw a T, and that's what I could see. Also, I have a really cheap mount on my phone that covers up, like, it's hard to see all the stuff. So we have an ambulance that just keeps, like, doing a siren. Some people up there. So Lehigh or Lehigh, so you could take it, like, literally. Sorry, I can't read. Penn Star. So anyway, you could say like it's French, like high, like le high, or what have you. It kind of gets weird if you start to read the mapping system a certain way. It starts to get weird. So like a whole bunch of people are high up on Lehigh. You know what I mean? Like it starts to get totally, you know. Anyway, so around the corner, I should put your thumb. broke your thumb or something like that. So anyway, sorry, I can't read everything. I can read some of it, but the glare and my phone. I wish I could, because I want to make sure I acknowledge that everyone exists and all that stuff. So moving, self-storage. I'm not sure how people wind up here per se or what have you, but there's a whole, anyway, to have self-storage up here. So anyway, everyone's born into different worlds in society and at different levels of income, and it can, I don't know how people raise up. How you see have you seen the movie Rocky? I have, like, yo, Adrian, and blah, blah, blah. It's been so long, and of course they put the Rocky statue down on the side of the steps. Go up here. Instead of at the top of the steps. Missouri. This is actually a nice facility. I'm kind of surprised. This must be new-ish, but Missouri, language of bats revealed. Venture across America, number 138. So anyway, just walking along and, kind of showing like, a little bit of Kensington. While I can, not much to say. Sorry about that. I almost didn't come up here just because I don't like people to be exploited in general. What I'm okay with, this is interesting, like chicken wire. What I'm okay with is sort of like raising awareness. And, I don't know how the world changes. There's a line from Angels in America that says, how do people change? And this is the Mormon wife of a guy who discovers that he's gay and is going to leave her. The Mormon wife asks her mother-in-law, the father or the mother of the guy who just, has found love in the gay world. And she's like, how do people change? And the Mormon mother says something like, it isn't pretty. God sticks his hands into your guts, pulls them all out, rips them, mangles them up, and sticks them back in, and it's up to you to put it all back together. One of my favorite lines from Angel in America, because it's kind of like that, all bloody, ugly, and messy. So Angels in America is a movie it's actually a play. It was a book, a play, and then it wound up on HBO. So I saw the HBO series, but I actually got it on disc. Like somehow I saw it through the disc rental, what have you. I think I bought it in the end because I loved it so much. Back then I watched a lot of TV. These days I do not. So go this way. So Angels in America, how do people change? It isn't pretty. God reaches his hands in, pulls out all your guts, mangles them, bloody, it's a mess, sticks them back in. You have to change do it all yourself. I kind of felt like that after having been through everything that was going on in 2011. So, and it's like, oh, I don't know how to fix this, because technically I can't change other people. I don't know why they were doing what they did, so forth and so on. So there's a little uphill, like it's all downhill until Lehigh, and then it's uphill after that. Here we are with the Odyssey here on the side. Oregon Toyota Prius, Bryn Mawr. That's interesting. Mint, slightly mint. Maybe there's some jobs up here and somebody's a social worker or what have you. Beacon of Hope in Kensington. So Delaware in the house, Hyundai Elantra, brand new car, kind of a rent-a-dent-ish kind of car. So we could get on at this station. I'm not sure which station to get on. I'll probably get on this one. I just wanted to do a quick walk. I'm also experiencing some tongue twisting. Sometimes that happens. It's hard to explain. So anyway, it's not always fun. Anyway, we'll get into it. But sometimes you can feel like, does someone out in the universe want me to be quiet? Because they're trying to mess up my talking. Or like somehow my talking gets messed up or what have you. So anyway, so I'm thinking of the song Coldplay by or Coldplay, The Scientist, and that's what it reminds me of. Coldplay, and number 3, Allen Iverson. Kind of reminds me of that song. There's a jersey in the video, the music video of Allen Iverson's jersey number 3, Coldplay, The Scientist. I'll take you back. I'm trying to get the tune in my head, but I can't remember it. Do I want to go here, or I'll keep going as long as my battery life will keep going. I'll just keep walking down Kensington. We are further south than McPherson Park, so here we go. We are officially at Huntington. Okay, and you can see straight down. Like you can see. I don't know if people give up on trying to clean everything. I don't know what happens, and not everybody wants to be in a danger zone to do things if they feel endangered or what have you. Of course, I'm here during broad daylight and everything like that, so I really don't feel, I've been up here before, so a lot more that might look like as I walk down the street. I'm used to it. So technically in the city of Philadelphia, I've felt more intimidated. Actually, oddly, some people might actually feel safer up here and sought out safety by coming here. And I kind of wonder if that's the case. Like Center City has some things going on that's a little bit of a wreck. So in a way, people are like, let me escape the matrix, or like the old terminology, or I guess they still use it, would be like to numb oneself out of whatever it is that's going on in society. So that could be part of it, because it's kind of quiet and not that bad this afternoon. And I don't know exactly what time it is. It's after 1 o'clock, so about 1-ish, I think. Okay. Let me go. That's the center. So we're down here around Sargent. I believe Biden has 2 dogs, Sargent and Master, German Shepherds. So down here at Sargent and Freedom Academy. Hey. So, okay. So, a potato chip truck. Probably used to say Frito-Lay and all that kind of stuff, and Lay's potato chips and all that. Brightside Academy, and then of course, still looking like an insect as ever, the Kensington line. So that's the first time I see you in summertime. Heading south on the west side of Kensington, coming up on Cumberland. Is that it? And eventually I'll hop back onto the L. I've been up here a lot of times for volunteerism, and also someone I knew lived here, and I used to get off at Somerset to go visit her. And in a way, it was partially because I wanted to open my eyes to the rest of the world. So many people, live with blinders on and all that kind of stuff. So I wound up with a whole education a long time ago by choosing to volunteer and to see what was really going on up here. So this is all part of Philadelphia. So your tourists would normally look towards, the historic old city, downtown Philadelphia, what have you. And I thought, well, let me take a stroll today over the top. Over the top masonry restoration. There was a lot of over the top stuff that happened in my case, and I imagine it's over the top in general. It depends. You could be in all kinds of camps. Like there are people who look at the drug world and think, oh my God, it's over the top. Or they look at all the signs and nuances that are placed throughout society and it's like, God, this is over the top. I'm sick of it. So literally over here at Family Dollar, RAV4 here. My mom totally had to rent a car when she came up to visit everybody in Delaware, Philadelphia. And she got a RAV4. And after she was, done and had to turn the car in and everything else, she went home and she's like, I totally want a RAV4. If I ever get to have a new car, which she never did, if I ever get to have a new one, she had a Ford Fusion or Ford Escort LX 1996 maroon. That poor thing lasted all the way up until 2021. She passed away in 2020, and I was able to use it while living there, and I used it to earn money through Shipt, a food delivery service. And thank God for that. But she totally wanted a RAV4. So anyway, I sometimes feel badly. Like, it's kind of sad to be like, there are people who would love to get a new car, this, that, and the other, and they can't. They will never get to do that. Like, I don't have a car because I live in center. I'm so used to city life that I'll just get around through other means in order to keep a roof over my head in a safe-ish environment. Even still, I struggle because it comes down to finding work, people who will either hire you regularly or dog walking or house sitting and all that stuff. So anyway, technically, anyway, I don't know how society works, but whenever, like, I look at this side of society and then look at some of the things people have, I'm like all the way up in the middle-ish, but always struggling and worried about, how am I going to pay rent again? I don't know how it works, society. I don't know why there are people here as opposed to in a big gigantic house on a beach somewhere. I don't know. And it's not always through hard work. People are born into situations, so they may have a leg up big time already. I totally get it. But it does start to get weird when you think about it. And there's all kinds of development up here and everything else. Cavefish comes constables or something. I don't even know what that. Look that one up. So we're down here at York. I could get on at the York station, or I could just keep going down here, see how far I get, and also my battery. Want to see how long it lasts. So there's a shot of Kensington all the way straight down, Kensington Ave. You just keep walking and walking and walking. Technically, I could use the exercise, so I don't mind. It's a little warm. I have on my rain-ish spring jacket thing. So by the time I get home, I'll be sweaty and all that kind of stuff. So anyway. Thanks. Thank you. Exotic candy and all that stuff. This reminds me of Keelan Windera's book, Lightness of Being. It kind of reminds me of it because of the floating hat, bowler hat with, a body, like almost like an empty body or what have you. So I don't know what it means here, that mural. So this person with a target on her back. So totally get it. Yeah. On her right side, left-hand pocket. Right. So I learned how to read this way and everything else. So walking on down Kensington. This is south of Allegheny, Somerset, Lehigh, all that. I decided I was going to just do like 3 or 4 blocks, or down to the 3rd station. I was going to do Allegheny to Somerset, but I was like, I'll just keep going. I could use the walk. It's quiet on this section. Up at Allegheny is where most of the activity would be, Allegheny through Somerset-ish. But here's a look of Kensington and parts south, Kensington Avenue. Philly is well known for it. Apparently, it's known worldwide. I am so out of it when it comes to knowing anything about. I only know so much, just like the average citizen would know. But I don't know how word gets around amongst people. I don't know any of that. I don't know how people travel. I don't know where they get the money all the time. I don't know. Like, it boggles my mind. I don't even know how people make money on drug sales. I thought about this. It's like, you have to have the money to get a supply, right? And then you would have to sell it at a profit. That's like basic economics 101. It's okay to go. So who's doing that? And how do they have the money up front to get, like, say people got like a brick of cocaine. Like, how do you have the money to buy that? Like, where does it cross over from your, like, someone has to learn and be almost like a user or someone who knows about the world. Anyway, these are things I think about, and there's all these dramas on National Geographic with those, episodes and shows about drug dealers and how they wound up here, there, everywhere, and you don't know, like, who's an informant, who's this, that, or the other. The math never adds up for me in terms of making money. This is an actual thing, even in my own personal life. How is it you make a profit and then you're paying taxes? How do you ever, like, profit? Like, I just pay to sort of, like, live in an apartment, So these are things I never, I just sort of grew up in a world where you learn how to survive. Luckily, I grew up in a suburb of Delaware, which was kind of on the clean side. Drugs did infiltrate, though. We had divorce, desegregation, and drugs all come in to destroy families during the 70s and 80s. So, anyway, the desegregation wouldn't be a major issue. It's just if a society is rattled too much. In my case, divorce was an issue. Our parents divorced, and our family, that was rare in our community, and my mom, sister, and I benefited the least from that transaction. So we grew up sort of watching other people benefit real good. Did not. That might be why I'm more empathetic to people who, in a world where there's so much disparity, I kind of identify with the have-nots on some level, even if I had technically a better existence than what you would find up here north of Girard. So, it's not fun watching everybody else being able to get to have, get to do this, get to do that, blah, 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 so forth and so on. They have this, they have that, everything. So, so it's probably molded me a little bit, all those experiences. And of course, all the while, this stuff has been going on in Kensington. And they are building up newer and newer homes here. See how there's, like, really nice homes? That would be like a brand new develop. So they're slowly developing around here. I don't know where the money comes from. I don't know who these people are. People are just used to dealing with more money in general. Or how do people become investors in communities? Or people who do the whole housing thing. We have a row home down in Center City. This is good this is actually good to know. They have row home down in anyway, we have row home down by the Schuylkill Riverbanks Park. There's tennis courts, and then, like, catty-cornered from the big tennis courts, you will find row home. So got a little information we didn't know before because we didn't look up row home. So I think I think she was on the subway with me, this woman. I kind of recall her from coming up. So anyway, Washington, D.C. in the house, Maroon CRV. Strolling on Kensington on Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. I kept thinking Cinco de Mayo, I was like, at first I was like, it's Day of the Dead, but it's not Day of the Dead. November 1st, Day of the Dead. So I kind of didn't know that. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, Cinco de Mayo was actually a celebratory day for Mexicans because they won some sort of battle with the French. I don't know the whole story, but it sounds like someone tried to impose on their land or something probably, or some sort of thing going on. And there you have it. So we are marching south towards Diamond on Kensington Avenue, a lot quieter in this section, and Coral. So sometimes the streets switch off. So it is Coral on that side, but it kind of angles up, and then it's Diamond on this side. And oh, I see. Okay, now we're getting into redevelopment land. So whatever you call it, what's it called? I used to have a whole vocabulary, and my brain totally got fried. But when you start to change neighborhoods, there's a very specific vocabulary word. God. Anyway, I'll think of it later. It really bothers me that I can't think of that word. So anyway, the whole point being, they start to build up certain neighborhoods. The issue would be that some people experience a push out. So if they raise the quality, I guess, or the value or the price in a certain area, that means people can't afford to stay there any longer if they have the same jobs or the same income or what have you, whatever's going on. So then where do they go? And it's like a plight situation. So anyway, so all this is new. This would be a nicer section. We were kind of south-ish of the whole Kensington deal. And we are moving on into past Diamond. So south of Diamond, it's a little bit nicer. They have all this development. So someone's investing money to kind of build up. What people do, it's sort of like New York. Like they kept pushing out, and people moved into the 5 boroughs and everything else. They can't afford to live on Manhattan Island any longer or what have you. So they start building in areas that, and then they create whole entire communities in these other sections. And it's almost like people forget they can go down to Center City. They'll just hang out up here in Fishtown or Northern Liberties or what have you, and enjoy an entirely new community sort of right outside of Center City. So, and hopefully it's a good community, because sometimes it can look nice, but then what if you wind up with a whole bunch of people who are annoying, or even if it looks okay. So, and then you're like, oh, I'm stuck in some community that operates by a certain belief system. I don't know what to do about it. And I don't necessarily do that. So over here is some fabricated, I don't know what you call this kind of housing, Philly for Elizabeth Warren. So that's going on here. I have 3 dog walks next week, on Mother's Day, the 8th, also on the 12th, and also on the 15th. So barbershop here. So I'm excited to have some extra work next week. 3 dog walks. Wow, I can't believe it's really nice down here. Where are we? We are on what? Amber and Norris or something like that. What a difference, just a couple of blocks away can do. So I don't know what to say. Then what if here's 5 sisters? It's like the sister schools, like Swarthmore, Bryn Mawr, and there's like 3 others. Ice Cream Parlor, Middle Eastern Sweets. That's good to know. Diaz Flatvic, Front, Norris, and all that. So anyway, Liberty Choice Food Market, but it has all this brown awning, like old school Italian-ish. You know what I mean? I need one of those scooters. So this is the nicer section south of Kensington, and places that have been redeveloped over time, creating an entirely different atmosphere about 4 blocks south of the major drug issue in Philadelphia, Kensington. So it's nice, peaceful, and quiet here. I find it interesting that people who wind up in Kensington might feel a sense of safety. They're afraid of certain things or certain people. It becomes kind of a mindset, but I wonder if powers that be keep pushing people there, and kind of somehow it winds up in their minds that it's safer there. Here's Minnesota in the house. I've always noticed all this stuff. Not always, but since I was tortured in 2011. But anyway. And what if it's actually quieter and nicer, like in another neighborhood? People get used to a certain level of abuse, per se, or they're either trapped into it or used to it or what have you. It never ends, the logic and the debates about that. I don't know how people can come out of Kensington. I don't know how it works. Like a re-entry or an exit from Kensington and re-entry into a kind of a nicer, more peaceful, no drugs society. I have no idea how that would happen. So that would be a long journey. It's sort of like a weight loss journey. I don't want to minimize the drug issue, but in a way, in the realm of having to take a step, and then it's a lifetime of constantly. That's what I would gather. So, I've had to lose weight. I lost like between 50 and 60 pounds back in 1992. I was in a way addicted to food. We're up here at Berks, okay. And food is legit, right? So you can run out anytime, get a soda, this, that, and the other, and there's no concerns, no worries. But that stuff will, mess up your body big time over time. And all the food that goes along with it, McDonald's, Burger King, what have you. So it was a long haul of trying to sort of de-oppress one food and beverage item at a time. That's what I like to say, because food is always in your face wherever you go. Although, thankfully, we have Whole Foods or natural food stores that are very accessible. So it's easier to find better stuff. Some skateboarding in the house. I can do electric, push, kick, and coast, right? So love it. I love skateboarding. I actually had a couple decks myself. Electric skateboarding is all I could do. It's too hard to push, kick, and everything else. It takes a long time to develop that, and you kind of expect that the skateboard's going to go faster. Of course, there's a nice slight decline here, so it's easier, better ride, except for the cracks in the sidewalk, and it's dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So anyway, loved the electric skateboard experience. I got a really cheap one through Swagboard on Swagtron. So anyway, and then there's is this the performing arts one? Oh, so anyway, there's a performing arts high school here before Montgomery Avenue. So Kensington and Montgomery Avenue, and they have Kensington Performing Arts School. I remember seeing it on the way up. This feels new to me. I don't recall this when I rode the subway. It's been so long since I would have ridden up this far. But there it is with almost like the back of a gator or reptilian-ish. So I don't know. There you go. So you have to watch out for bird droppings under the L. As I walk along, I can see all these bird droppings on the sidewalk. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. And if you comment and I don't see it, it's because of sun glare. And I kind of have just a basic phone, and I haven't figured out the best system for being able to read everything. Should they, if a chat would come up. Under the L. Some psychologists would say that it would be noise pollution, providing for a lesser quality experience in life, or not providing for a better quality experience in life. So feast your eyes over here, and this is catering. Never heard of them before, so that's a new one for me. Cater out to all kinds of parties, events, restaurants, everything. Front and Palmer is where they are. So a lot nicer section up here, doable. I don't know what the price ranges are up here. I'm kind of surprised. I remember looking around thinking, oh my gosh, they're charging this much to live outside of Center City. You would assume Center City would be the most expensive. It totally comes down to the property owner, landlords, everything else. Who's trying to gouge who, what have you. I saw something on the way up that said, not taxes, something was, anyway, I saw a post that implied that something was technically robbery. And it's yeah, you're right. I'll have to go back and look. It's kind of in the realm of taxes. So LMNO, it's part of the alphabet. Of this building here. I don't know what it is. So all in a charcoal gray. And this is the nicer section south of Kensington. I just decided to continue walking while my phone was still able to operate. When I turned it on, it was around 92% or so. And I also brought my phone battery charger, and it's continuing, so we'll go with it. And the L will start to go down here a little bit. Evil Genius Beer Company. I remember seeing that on the ride up. A lot of this is new-ish. I had a live stream earlier called Good Girl No Barking, Come Sit Stay. I was actually called a dog. I don't know why I walked dogs. I had an incredibly bizarro but very dangerously cruel experience that began in 2011. It doesn't seem like it now when I'm talking, unless I were to be triggered into my PTSD and then I start yelling down the street and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it was really bad. I'm kind of surprised to still be here, though, because, it was bad. So anyway, part of that experience was being called a dog, treated like a dog, and everything else. So I'll get into it now. We're down here on Front and Columbia. It's Columbia Ave. Oh, and here's another Goldie. So Goldie is part of the Dizengoff, Goldie, Merkaz. It's a whole group, like Israeli group of restaurants, or they call it like Israeli food or what have you. So I didn't know there was a Goldie up here. I knew there was one. There's either Goldie or Dizengoff over in West Philly. They have a bunch of locations. So anyway, we'll just keep walking down towards Oxford. Get some sights and sounds in here. Conquer. Wow, it looked like that singer girl who just passed away. The one on American Idol or what have you. Skinny. She sang that song, Skinny something or other, or I forget. Anyway, like she was fried or something. And Conquer. 3 cheers. Delivery is here. XOXO Goldie. Smells good. They have like hummus and stuff like that. I'm a vegetarian, so they have a lot of vegetarian offerings at Goldie. Griffin Cafe up here. What that? So hipster land. So we're into the hipster land-ish. So technically it would be hipster-ish up here. I could walk all the way back, but I probably won't. I could spare myself the $2 on the L. But I'll probably pick it up again down here. I don't know how close I am to Girard and all that stuff. There'll be a station up here soon, hopefully. It's a little warm, the sun's coming out, and I'm glad I got this in and done with. I was going to do it at 2 o'clock. Then I tried to edit it to put 1 o'clock on the title as the, premiere, and I kept changing it, and and it wouldn't save it to be changed. Oh, I totally need one of these. I totally need this. It might be a little bit bigger than. All right, thank you. Hopefully it'll work. I ran out of chargers, and thanks. So anyway, just picked up this and hoping it'll work. Hopefully it's not totally broken or damaged. We'll give it a try at home because, and the end looks a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if it's the right size, but we'll give it a try because I have a cord that keeps popping out, and also I've been trying to charge up things at home and they're not charging fully. So anyway, Jefferson Street up here, Fishtown District. See, it looks like a fish. Indy. So wow, a lot of changes up here over the years. I'm incredibly hungry. I purposely did not eat lunch. Oh, this is a neat little street here. KW Philadelphia over there. I'm all the way over on Kensington Avenue, which is a bit east of Broad Street. So Broad Street would be, gosh, I don't know, a bunch of blocks west of me. We'll go with 7, 8, 9, or 10. So I'm all the way on the east side. by the Kensington under the L, which looks like a big gigantic insect or alligator, some sort of, King Kong situation. That's what it reminds me of, some sort of Japanese filmage or Chinese filmage, or whatever you call it, anime slash, what was it, King Kong-ish? I used to think King Kong was Japanese. I would swear that it was Japanese, and I looked it up and was like, no, it's Chinese. That the thing that climbed, the gorilla that climbed the Empire State Building and everything. I don't know why I swore that it was Japanese, but I was wrong. So, pretty purple tree over here. I don't know how well you can see it. Over by this Supri something spoon. Sort of growing out of all that debacle. Good spoon soup pickup window. How about that? I gotta look up some of this stuff. We have groom and board over here. Locally sourced. It's almost like, remember the soup Nazi from New York, from the whole Jerry Seinfeld show? So, that's sort of in that realm. So front and master. So there you have it. Master and Sergeant are the dogs of Joseph Biden, President of the United States. His German Shepherds. And here we have Master and Sergeant was a little bit north. So I wonder if he knew a thing or two about Philly. He did grow up in Scranton. And then wound up in Delaware. In his younger years, his father had to move the family, it sounds like. It's interesting that he had two German Shepherds. Currently, I think he still has two German Shepherds, Master and Sergeant, right here, south of Kensington. Those streets exist. In a debacle of a situation where drugs became a major, there's dog walking world right there, major issue across the entire United States, and then people wound up sort of being corralled into certain sections of each city. So in a way, like people sort of, it's like a catch-all. They wind up in Kensington or Oakland, California, or what have you, and just kind of fascinating. It's almost like a whole community winds up existing because of the severity of the problem. Anyway, if you go online, of course, there's Kensington, and then if you look up Oakland, there's it's pretty sad out there that people are living in such conditions and with serious issues. And how does it change? No one knows. And was it like this back in the day, or were people sort of protected and shielded and didn't know what happened? I have no idea. I grew up in Little Sycamore Gardens from 1970 on Kirkwood Highway, and then didn't move to Philadelphia until I was about almost 30, 29 going on 30, in year 2000, and struggled to survive as it is. Wishing I could have made a lot more money, because it's like, well, I'm by myself, I don't even have kids or anything, I don't know how it's done, swear to God, still wondering. So Thompson, we're getting closer down here to Johnny Brenda's area, kind of. A few more blocks, I believe. So front and Thompson with this. I haven't seen that KFN. Over here with this. I saw this sign on the way up also. Garden open at whatever it is. So the name isn't like overly obvious. It's just that symbolism, whatever. Middle child over here. I didn't know they had a middle child up here. They have one down in Center City, part of Washington Square West. Area, part of the neighborhood over on 11th Street, right across from Jefferson University Hospital, where the actual school part is. So we're down here officially in Fishtown. I'll probably get on to the next stop. I'm not sure how far south I am in regards to, should I go front or sign? Of course, there's a giant up here. I need to check my food card. I'm not sure if it's reloaded yet. I don't want to use it until it's reloaded and I don't have to stand there and figure out, like, oh, I have 50 cents left. There's The little giant heirloom market up here in Fishtown. It's probably a few blocks. I'm trying to figure out where I am exactly. But anyway, I could stop there, but I'll probably jump on the subway down here. This is probably the station I'm looking for. It is, right. Yep. Okay, so we're coming up on, is it Girard? I always get mixed up because it's by the Frankfurt Avenue. It's the whole Frankfurt slash Kensington slash what have you. Most people will come up here to go to Johnny Brenda's, or Amrita Yoga is up here. And there's also Northern Liberties would be like a little bit southwest of here. And it's walkable, like I could just walk around the corner and get there. But I'm officially exhausted and ready to wrap it up on the Kensington situation. Do you want me to keep going, or we'll head on home from this section, and that's about it. So I will wrap it up. We want to go up a little bit? Okay. We'll head on up a little bit. I'll probably miss the whole station thing. Did I miss it? Oh. I'll kind of run up really quick. If one's coming in, then the other one will come. The one heading northwest. So we'll kind of going. Hopefully, I'll catch it. All right. Let's see. All right, yay. So Girard Station, here we are. And I'll ride it all the way back home for the most part. So thank you for joining me on the Kensington walk. Got a little tongue-tied there walking through, but nonetheless, got to see it, and we'll post it publicly later. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much. I'll see you later.